Hey, Slay do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? I apologize for being a couple minutes late here getting going. I was having some issues getting it angled. Anyway, how the heck are you? So I'm basically doing more or less the same thing I did with the first video, but I've taken out the gin and have substituted rye. So because I've done that, it's no longer a martini. It's a straight up, well, I would say straight up old fashioned, but it's really not that either because I didn't put any bitters in this. It's just basically the same thing. I use uh, the rye whiskey with the simple and a garnish. That's all that's happening here. Want to keep it simple, man. So the first one I'm using is again one local. I'm going one local, one not. The double barrel rye whiskey finished in stout barrels. This is at 92 proof from Tiakida, again, right here in Springfield, Missouri. Let me show you that bottle. And the glass. Yeah, I thought about using, usually when I use a strawberry, if I do an old fashioned, I have rhubarb bitters that I use, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted the again, keep it simple. The whiskey, the simple, the garnish, that's it. Exactly the same thing with the first video, but I used gin, which made it martini. And here we're doing the same thing. I'm just using the rye with the simple is all. Anyway, sláinte. Oh, gosh, that is nice. And I do feel like sometimes people make things complicated just for the sake of being complicated. And sometimes things just don't need anything else. The rye with the simple, I didn't feel like I needed the bitter. So I'm not going to call this an old fashioned because I feel like an old fashioned, you need the bitter. But I didn't want to do that here. Just want to do, it is more or less how I would make a martini. But I'm not going to call it a martini because I'm using the rye. You see what I'm doing here? Anyway, sláinte. Decided to do one more because I could sleep in tomorrow. I was going to be off tomorrow anyway, but I figure with the upcoming snowpocalypse, I know I wouldn't have to do anything else. I wouldn't have to get out for anything. We've wife grabbed a couple of things from the store today, so we're good. I got food. I got beer, wine, and whiskey. I'm okay, man. We gotta make it. We gotta make it, man. Anyways. So they do various versions of this double barrel rye, and I've had various versions of, but this is the first time I bought the stout barrel, and it's very interesting because it adds a different dimension to the whiskey. The stout cask does. Because I've had the I think it was the port barrel. And I can't remember what the other one was now. Sherry cask, the port cask and sherry cask. But the stout really takes it in kind of a different direction. But it is interesting with my strawberry simple. My strawberry simple, baby. Yeah. It's good. Anyways, we'll get through probably about another week. I usually only wait till March, right? And we started celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Once we pass Valentine's Day, we start celebrating. We celebrate a while here for that. We celebrate like the last week of February, and we celebrate a week after actually St. Patrick's Day. I take it serious here. Because I think there's no better holiday than one that doesn't expect you to give anything to anybody. All they want you to do is eat some traditional food, whatever is traditional to you, and have some beer and whiskey. That's all they're asking you to do on St. Patrick's Day. Now, some people take it to an extreme and make it mean that you need to get drunk. Well, you don't need to. You can, but you don't need to. And if you're smart, you're not drinking green beer either. You're drinking good beer, not green beer, and some good Irish whiskey. This is one of those very rare occasions that I don't have any Irish whiskey because I usually have several bottles I've kind of, you know, gone through throughout the course of the year. But the way things work this year, I just bought a lot of American whiskey, so I do need. I will have to. I don't usually have to go out and buy whiskey special for St. Patrick's Day because I already have it. But in this case, I will have to go out and buy at least one bottle of Irish. And I usually buy two, or at least two, because well, I want to have that one whiskey, probably just a good blend that I can do some cocktails with. Well, I'll drink neat, but I want to have do some cocktails, maybe a shot or two here and there. But I also want to have a very good single malt Irish to be able to relax and drink. Ugh. Tiaki Dot Products, man, these guys aren't kidding. Their stuff is good, man. This is a very nicely done rye. And I do like the double barrels where they, the change of, like I said, I've had the sherry cask, the port, uh, and I bought this one, oh, I think first part of December of last year. And I've enjoyed the heck out of it. I drink it mostly neat, but I have enjoyed a cocktail or two. I made this one rather strong, as you can see. What are you doing, Tom? Anyways, I digress. Uh, so, like I said earlier, I haven't been doing my Monday videos for a lot of reasons. During the political season, I was doing what I call Monday Night News, where I was talking about the political issues going on. But then I had some folks try to make things difficult for me, so I backed off a little bit. Um, and I had about a 3 week period where I wasn't posting anything political at all on my personal Facebook page. Then I started up again, and sure shit, as soon as I did, somebody squealed to my boss. My personal page, mind you. I just it's always the people that are complaining about the First Amendment rights being taken away that complain when you say something they don't agree with. But here's the thing. This is the part they don't get usually, because when people complain about their stuff, they always say, well, it's the First Amendment. I have the right to say anything I want to. Yes, you do. I have the right to say anything I want to say without, well, it should be without fear of reprisal from the government. But the new government may be just a little bit different than that. But anyway, in the past, that's what the First Amendment has meant. It doesn't mean you can get in trouble. Doesn't mean your employer can't take issue with what you say. So this is where I have to start walking it back now, and not walking it back, but not say after. This is where I need to be less vocal because I love my job and I don't want to get fired because I've irritated some candy ass. So I need to walk my political feelings back a little bit, not say some things, because the people that get all upset about the First Amendment don't want you exercising your First Amendment. They want to be able to say all the ignorant, hateful things they want to say. They just don't want you to let them know they're wrong. So, anyway, I got to take it down a notch. So I'll be keeping my political thoughts to myself. The most hurtful thing about it is that I know the person that did this is somebody that I have as a friend on social media. It's also somebody that I know personally. It's also somebody that's ordered a drink for me, looked me right in my eyes, and smiled at me, and then turned around and went to my boss complaining without having the guts to say anything to me personally. Like that's the part that hurts the most. Is that is that they had the ability to say something to me and chose not to. It just seems rather cowardly. So, anyways, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to grab my second cocktail and I will be right back. All right, I'm back with one more cocktail with you. Just realized I forgot to do something earlier. I got talking, forgot what I was doing here. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I sure shit forgot to change the privacy. I said it where only friends can watch. So to find out which friend is narking me, yeah. Anyway, well, see, here's the thing. It would be great. I really wish it wasn't a friend. I really wish it wasn't somebody that I know is looking me right in the eye. But and that's the sad part. I guess that's the part that hurts the most. And they went to my boss rather than to say something to me personally, and that just man, I'm having issues reconciling that fact. So I'm having to change all my privacy issues where only friends can see. So if a friend happens to narc me out, then I know exactly who that so-called friend is. So what are you drinking now, Tom? So here's what I did. I bought this one again back in September. So I had some other Hard Truth products that I bought at the Hard Truth bar in Indianapolis. But this particular product, actually, the Hard Truth High Road Rye, a straight rye whiskey at 93 proof. I bought this one actually at the Jungle Gyms here in Cincinnati. I bought this one in Cincinnati, Ohio, actually. Mash distilled and aged in charred American oak barrels, Brown County, Indiana. This stuff is really good, man. It is a nice 93 proof rye. It really is delicious. So the first product I bought from them actually was their cask their cask sweet mash rye, and that stuff was insane. And then I bought their 90 proof sweet mash bourbon. Oh, I also had their maple bourbon cream, which was absolutely delicious. Everything I've had from Hard Truth has been really delicious. I'm a big fan of their stuff. So, but this was my last. This was the last of it. So I used the last 3 ounces to put in this particular cocktail. 3 ounces of the whiskey, 1 ounce of the simple. And again, I'm not going to call this an old fashioned because I'm not using any bitters. It's just the whiskey. It's really closer to a rye martini than it is an old fashioned because they're not using any bitters. It's just the simple, the rye, and that's it. But the high road, the high road ride, the Hard Truth products, these guys are just incredible. That I got to be honest with that sweet mashed cask rye. Oh my god, that might be the best cask rye I've ever had in my entire life. That stuff was amazing. And their bourbon cream or their maple bourbon cream. Oh man, please. That stuff was amazing. I love the stuff we found in Indianapolis and then into Columbus. One thing and I've said this in some other videos, one thing I loved about Indianapolis was all of the distilleries I hit, all of the breweries I mean, every brewery I went to, every distillery I went to had pride flags up, had various versions of, had various flags for the LGBTQ community, on trans flags. A combination. Some have three or four different ones. Um, and I love that. And I made sure those folks knew it. So I love the inclusion that this neck of the woods has as compared to where I live, which is very ignorant and redneck. A lot of very fucking stupid here in my neck of the woods. Well, no, that's not. Don't say that, Tom. A lot of bigots, though. I mean, there's just a lot of ignorance. A lot of people that just don't want to evolve is the problem. And I love that they were evolved out there. I love that they were so inclusive out there, and it bothers me that we aren't that way here. But yeah, the distilleries that I hit out there, the Hard Truth, Hotel Tango, Four Finger, yeah, I mean every one of them were very inclusive. The breweries that I hit out there were all the same way as well, and that was nice. Again, I want to encourage if you anybody watching me at this point, we're going to bed, Tom. We're tired. Anybody still watching? If you have any questions or comments, please put it up there. I'll answer almost anything. If you ever want to be part of the video, let me know, and I'll send you the link, and you can jump on live with me. But without, I don't know. I just feel like if I'm wrong, if everything I believe is wrong, I'm going to err on the side of love rather than the side of hate. And I feel like the other side is going to err on the side of hate. If they're wrong because they hated people for all the wrong reasons. If I'm wrong, this is because I love people for all the wrong reasons. So I don't know. You choose to believe in whatever God you think exists. I'm going to choose to believe if there is some sort of spiritual being out there that he or she is going to love us all for who we are. And it does feel like to me that those people that want to hate use scripture to justify their hate rather than to justify love. So again, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be wrong on the side of love rather than hate. So anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Anyway, oh gosh. That is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, the main reason I'm not going to call this an old fashioned again is because I didn't put any bitters in it. Because an old fashioned, I don't feel like has to be served on the ice, but you do need those three components, right? Uh, an old fashioned has to be a whiskey, a sugar cube or simple, sugar cube slash simple, and a bitter, but I'm not using any bitters here. It's just the rye whiskey and and the simple. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte. Hey, thanks folks for tuning in. I